I got to tell you, I'm so excited. I'm just on 10 right now because I love it when I have the opportunity to introduce to some and present to others amazing individuals who are doing great things around the world. And today is no different. We have one of our featured authors joining us on this afternoon. And I tell you, I'm excited to introduce her to each and every one of you around the world. And before I do that, let me thank God for our additional platforms who are tuning in, our partner networks. Thank you guys so much for doing what you do. And of course, hanging out with me here on this afternoon. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dudes and dudettes, please welcome one of our the GMAP featured authors, Diane Taylor Roberts is here. Good afternoon, Diane. How you doing?
Well, hi there. Good afternoon. Your enthusiasm is contagious.
Ooh, I love it. I love it. I love it. And you know what? This is just who I am, and I'm grateful for all the blessings that I receive outside of just being excited for doing what I love doing. And today we are grateful to introduce you to our viewers and listeners, and we're gonna dive right in. Do me the kind favor, if you don't mind. Come on down and introduce yourself. Tell us who you are. Tell us where you're from. Who is Diane Taylor Roberts?
Well, thank you to begin with for inviting me on your program. And my name is Diane Taylor Roberts, and I have written a book entitled That's What I Thought. It's about growing up in the 1960s Appalachia.
Mm.
And I grew up in Williamsburg, Kentucky, and that is where all the stories in the book takes place.
Now, I got to ask you this: is this actually your first book release, or is this a follow up to something that you have previously written before?
No, this is the first book release. I am currently working on a second book, but this is the first book, and it has done extremely well.
Mm.
And I'm so very, very thankful. For anyone who does not know where Williamsburg, Kentucky is,
Mm-hmm.
it is located on the state line between Tennessee and Kentucky. And in Williamsburg, we have the University of the Cumberlands.
Ah, well,
Yeah,
I
claim to fame.
why? Ooh, well, you talked about your latest release, and of course, I know that there's going to be a lot of viewers and listeners around the world who wants to know just a little bit about it. So why don't you do this? Do us that kind favor. Tell us a little bit about your current publication. That's what I thought. Tell us a little bit about it.
Okay. Well, it's about the 60s, and it was a completely different time to grow up in the 1960s in in a rural area. And it is very difficult to speak to a young person. I have a granddaughter who now attends the University of the Cumberlands, and many of the stories she's unfamiliar with in so many ways of what it was like to grow up in a small area when we did not have the technology that we have today.
Hmm.
Um, Everything was just so very, very different. And those of us who were around in the 60s, I honestly think you can relate.
Yeah.
Um, and it's not just the stories about growing up in the 60s, it is also about how impressionable we really are.
Mm.
Looking back in the 60s, you can see those who helped shape our lives,
Right.
those who touched us along the way to make us the people that we are today. So it really was a different time, and those remembrances need to be, if not put to paper, they will be lost forever.
Yeah, yeah, and I tell you, I'm just excited for you. I'm excited for your latest release, and I know there's going to be a lot of wonderful individuals who are tuning in right now, and or who may grab a copy of the recording. I gotta ask, how if someone wanted to reach out and show their love, care, concern, and support for you, and purchase a copy of your latest edition, what's the process? How can the book be purchased?
Well, I am on Amazon, and so definitely just go to Amazon and remember that's what I thought. It's the
Okay.
name of my book. But it also have I also have it on Audible as well, and I myself am doing the reading.
Ah, wonderful thing. And of course, we're not going to allow them to forget about little old GMAP Broadcast Network. Down here in the lower, we're in the lower left hand corner of everything in small print. But, they tell me that small print is the most important print on the paper. So,
Oh yes.
with that being said, of course, I'm going to encourage people to show their love, care, concern, and support today. Go out and purchase a copy of this amazing publication. And of course, it's real simple. That's what I thought. All you got to do is, look for that's what I thought. And of course, the publication will be available for you. We want you to make sure you go back and after you purchase a copy, read it, leave a review. It's so important for individuals to know what you think, how you feel. If you recommend and or encourage them to follow up and purchase a copy as well. Now Diane, I got to ask you this: you've been through the process. You've written the publication. You've released it to the world. I got to ask you this: after you look over the process and all that you've endured, what's next? What's next for you as an author?
Well, this book has resonated with so many people that I've had very lofty goals of how many copies to purchase, those kinds of things. And I did. I thought this will last me beyond a lifetime. And I have already went through a second printing. So
Mm.
it's done very, very well, and I'm very pleased about that. I also do public speaking engagements to talk about the book in different forums. Um, I honestly remember so many people, even as of today, they will say, "Man, I should have written a book." Well,
Mm.
I think there's a book inside all of us.
Yeah. Oh, I know there.
We
I
have,
know that. That I mean that.
yes,
It goes
there's
without saying.
unique stories.
Yeah. And I believe I'm gonna just piggyback off of what you said. I believe that there is a book in everyone. And it's so important that you write it down, share it. People want to know. And of course, I am so grateful for you because I'm going to be inviting you back to see how things are going and what you're doing, where you're doing it, and if you have any events coming up, book signings and things of that nature, we know that you have our number. We want you to use it. We want you to call me. Don't text, don't chat, don't tweet, none of that. We want you to call me and let me know what it is that we can do to assist you while you're on this journey. And I want you to know that the answer will always be yes, and you'll never have to ask me twice, okay?
Sounds great. Sounds absolutely wonderful.
And I,
Book signings are very, very important. You
mm-hmm,
get out there, talk with folks, let them hear your stories. I do book readings. I
mm-hmm,
go all over. So this has been a great experience,
yeah,
and I would just recommend anyone who is teetering with the thought, should I write a book? That book that's inside of me. Should
yeah.
should I really do that? Is this the year? Oh, I would say absolutely it is.
I agree, and I totally agree. Now, for those individuals that are tuned in on today and they wanted to reach out and maybe connect with you on a more, I guess you could say, individual basis, how is it that they can do so? I mean, is there a way for you to be contacted?
Absolutely. Um, I would be glad to help any aspiring writer that wants to um, fulfill their dream of writing the book that they always wanted to write, or even a memoir. Um, anyway, my number, I would be glad to give my cell number.
Oh, sure,
Would you
sure,
like that? Okay.
absolutely.
Okay. And that number is 423-871-1005.
Okay, now I'm just going to share this with you. We know that there are some viewers and listeners out there. They were trying to write it down, and their eyeliner broke, their crayon they couldn't find, their pen ran out of ink. They didn't have any lead in the pen. So we just need you to repeat that for us one more time so they can get it for me.
I will. The area code is 423. Then 871-1005.
Awesome. Now, do you have a website available that they can possibly go out and take a look at?
Yes, I do. And that is Diane Taylor Roberts. Um,
Dot. da- I mean, a lot of times
I just said it to you. What is my?
we have to say the dot sometimes.
There we go. Okay.
Right. Diane.
.com. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
come on. Go ahead. Now say it for me one more time so they can get it right.
Oh my goodness. Well, completely out of my mind.
Well, I'm just gonna take a little jot
I
on
sent
my
that to you.
computer and go
Okay, sure.
and
Because
go
I
over.
sent it to you. Very good.
And I'm gonna go over here and go to our. If you have any trouble, ladies and gentlemen, please, all you got to do is stop by our broadcast network site, gmap1.com, gmap1.com. Click on the tab that is titled Featured Authors. You click on that tab, you'll see a copy of Diane's book placed there. That's what I thought. And of course, if you click on that copy, it will take you to the necessary location to find out more intimate information and details. And just for the record, DianeTaylorRoberts.com. Okay?
There we go.
DianeTaylorRoberts.com. And Diane, I just can't thank
I
you
love
enough. I really, really appreciate you stopping by. And of course, we're going to be doing a follow up. So we're going to find out how things are going. I'm looking forward to hearing some of the great things that you have planned for the future. I want you to continue to be blessed and be a blessing, and make sure you continue to disseminate this outstanding publication to people around the world. You have a fantabulous rest of your day, and I'm looking forward to talking with you again soon, okay?
All right. Sounds great. Thanks for having me.
Diane Taylor Roberts, one of the GMAP Broadcast Network featured authors, right here on the #1 station in the nation, GMAP Broadcast Network, GMAP1.com.
Hi, I'm Diane Taylor Roberts, and I have written a book entitled That's What I Thought. And it is about growing up in the 1960s. It was a different time, completely different. And this book will have remembrances that you thought you had forgotten.